Dear worldwide EndoMarch participants, I am Dr. Far Nejat, a gynecologist, oncologist, and one of the co-founders of Worldwide EndoMarch. I would like to welcome you to 2021 virtual Worldwide EndoMarch all over the world. I'd like to thank you and congratulate you for all of your efforts. Since its inception 2013, Worldwide EndoMarch has raised awareness of endometriosis globally, and we would like to continue this so endometriosis is known like diabetes and hypertension. I would like to thank you again for all of your participation and efforts, and we would like to welcome you to 2021 Worldwide EndoMarch. Thank you.
Hello, I am Dr. Kamran Nejat, the founder of Worldwide EndoMarch and Worldwide Endometriosis Day. We have launched an app called Nejat Endometriosis Advisor, which is free app on App Store and also on Google's Android. This app is a good initial step for those who think they might endometriosis. It is helpful for patients who have pain and also patients who are trying to get pregnant without any success. So again, it is called Nejat Endometriosis Advisor on the App Store and also on Google's Android, and it is free. Good luck to you. I would like to take a moment and thank you very much, especially those of you who have donated to the Worldwide EndoMarch. Worldwide EndoMarch is a philanthropic 501c3 organization. It is completely charitable. All of your contributions are tax deductible. And without your efforts and without your contributions, we would not have been able to continue to do for the past 7 to 8 years what Worldwide EndoMarch has been doing for patients globally. We thank you, and if you would like to continue to support the efforts of Worldwide EndoMarch and donate to it, please go ahead to Worldwide EndoMarch website and push the donate button. Thank you again for your contribution.
Hi everyone, I am Dr. Ruma Sinha, Honorary Professor at Apollo Hospital, Hyderabad. It is great to be part of this international event and awareness program called EndoMarch. I thank Dr. Nejat and his team for giving us this opportunity to say hi from Hyderabad. This year, I know it's a virtual event, but we are making all effort to make sure the awareness of endometriosis reaches where it needs to be. And the focus that we are making this year is two: One, not to miss an early diagnosis and not to miss a diagnosis of endometriosis when the patients present with non-specific symptoms. And how are we trying to achieve that? Again, plan is two. One, we are trying to reach to the public for them to understand what could be the symptoms when they need to reach for their evaluation, and especially to a gynecologist. The second, we would like to sensitize our other specialty consultants so that they do not miss the diagnosis of endometriosis when women with non-specific symptoms reach to them. And we have one request. And the request is that if women reach to you with non-specific symptoms which you are not able to put your fingers on, please ask one question. And that is, does this problem exacerbate during your menstrual cycle? That could be the biggest clue that we could give to these women to be able to diagnose their very difficult problem of endometriosis at the right time to make all the difference. EndoMarch is an international event which is done on the last Saturday of March to create awareness world over. So today you are part of a historical event that is world over. So let's give us a big applause. The problem with this, and that is why the awareness is required, that there is no particular test that can deal with it. And that is why the average time that a woman normally takes from the time she starts her problem to the diagnosis is about 5 to 6 years.
ఈ కార్యక్రమంలో రకుల్ ప్రీత్ సింగ్ పాల్గొన్నారు. మహిళలు కడుపు నొప్పితో బాధపడుతుంటే వెంటనే హాస్పిటల్కు వెళ్లాలన్నారు డాక్టర్స్. వరల్డ్ వైడ్ గా ఎంతో మంది మహిళలు ఎండోమెట్రియోసిస్ తో బాధపడుతున్నారని చెప్పారు.
So there's a general psych that a lot of girls don't like to talk about any of their personal problems, or it's okay to have painful cycles, and they shy away from talking about it.
I appreciate the efforts of the organizers in taking up such an important cause to end the silent suffering of women. I hope and wish that your campaign reaches large number of people in creating right awareness and empowering them to take a call on this issue. I appreciate the doctor being the ambassador for this movement from Hyderabad, India. I am glad to know that in the past you have organized physical events from Hyderabad in association with Apollo hospitals. Your events like public march, candlelight vigil, and various public forum discussions to create awareness. I appeal to all women not to be ashamed or stigmatized of conditions like heavy bleeding and chronic pain during your periods. If these are intractable, they should be brought to a gynecologist's notice early in life so that they can be properly diagnosed, treated, and does not become a prolonged suffering. Medical help in terms of medication, injections, and surgical procedures like laparoscopy and robotic surgery have now come a long way in helping reduce suffering in these women. It is time to end the silent suffering. Let us resolve and rededicate to protect the health of women, as it is nothing but the health of the nation. Be brave and be open. Thank you, Jai Hind.
Myself Nandishwari, and I am a software engineer, and I am 40 years old. A woman who was going through endometriosis pain, and I want to, it's like very bad pain, the pain which I have gone through with 25 to 30 years, and that was diagnosed properly from Rumazina. I had my experience for my rectal pain, which damaged my rectal colon as well as my kidney pipe, which made my life worsen. Like I wanted to, destroy my life. I wanted to commit something. I was going through with lot of depression. So do not neglect it. Please take a proper advice.
Endometriosis is a chronic debilitating condition affecting millions of women all across the globe. It is not uncommon to find young women, even in our country, suffering from this particular disease, causing them chronic pelvic pain, heavy bleeding, and in fact making them suffer from infertility.
As many Indian women do, just tolerate it. And you tolerate the pain, you don't take care of yourself. I think it's important that you raise the awareness about this. The EndoMarch is a global phenomenon because women all over the world are united and standing up to say that we must do something. My name is Tulasi, and actually I'm facing this problem from past 4 years actually. So after that I met with surgery also, labro, and again the cyst has formed. I met ma'am and I went through a surgery which is robotic, and I'm very, very comfortable with it. And please do take your treatment for endometriosis and fight for it, okay? Please don't leave it like that.
I have been suffering from endometriosis for last 16 years, and living with endometriosis is not at all easy. It is a very stubborn and painful disease. Every month I have to go through a lot of pain because of endometriosis. So if it is diagnosed at an early stage, then it becomes easy to manage. More awareness is required related to endometriosis. If you are facing any kind of problem related to periods, rather than ignoring it as a normal period related issue. My request to all the parents, if your school college going daughters complains about discomfort related to periods, then don't ignore it. Get a proper evaluation done, and this will definitely help.
Namaste. And why I'm talking about this subject, endometriosis, which very few people really speak about openly, is exactly for that reason, because women suffer in silence. I want to reach out to women all over who are, suffering this pain and say that there are solutions, there are medical options. When a woman either has a health problem, say, she has cancer, she fractures her leg, something happens, the whole family feels so bad about it. Women's health is important, but in the case of endometriosis, women don't even talk. It's a silent, kind of women's thing that you tolerate. That there are cures, there are treatments. Some of the latest treatments that we are working on at Apollo include robotic surgery and laser. Please take care of yourselves. Stay healthy, because only a healthy woman can create a healthy family and a healthy society and a healthy world. So all the best to all of you.
Endometriosis not only affects various facets of a woman's life but also the people around her. It is because of the complex nature of the illness.
It is estimated that it takes approximately 7 to 10 years to get a definitive diagnosis of endometriosis from the first onset of its symptom. Many women around the globe are told to accept and normalize period pain as part of being women, ignoring that there may be an underlying medical condition. I am EndoMarching to raise awareness for endometriosis and support the cause.
I am EndoMarching to make people realize that endometriosis affects a woman's mental health too. The anxiety a lady has to go through is very difficult to understand. Endometriosis also affects a woman's social and financial life as well. So, it is very important for us to support the ladies who are suffering from it. We should not make them feel alone. So, let's pledge to end the silence and create endometriosis awareness.
Endometriosis is not just a bad period. It has been affecting women all over the world and still has been a neglected topic for discussion. I am EndoMarching because I support the cause and want to spread awareness about endometriosis and women's problems.
Hello. My introduction to endometriosis was rather sudden because I came to know about it in the middle of an examination hall while writing a paper on accounts, and it was because one of my very close friends had to leave the classroom due to the severe pain caused in this condition. And it's rather shocking to know about such a serious condition when you're already bleeding for a period of 5 to 6 years. So this year I am EndoMarching because fighting such a chronic condition is not easy, and I want to spread as much information as I can to tell people about endometriosis and its effect on the people.
Endometriosis is having devastating effects on quality of life of women. Why? Because of the painful symptoms that it brings. So I am supporting EndoMarch because it is spreading awareness about the condition across the globe, so that the women now can establish whether they are facing this problem and seek medical help to manage it.
Hi, my name is Erica Mark. I am a medical student currently at the University of Virginia School of Medicine. For my undergraduate degree, I went to University of California, Los Angeles, and I graduated in 2018. So I am now a third-year medical student. I first got involved in Worldwide EndoMarch my sophomore year of my bachelor's degree at UCLA. I was involved mostly because I was really interested in social justice. I think there's a huge overlap between social justice issues and endometriosis. For one, it being a woman's issue that has gotten not nearly as much attention as it deserves. During my time at UCLA, I had not heard about endometriosis before. I was unaware that painful periods were abnormal and that was something to be investigated. And I really hadn't heard about the disease in any sort of capacity before. Now that I'm a medical student, I've learned a little bit about the pathophysiology of it and what someone with a classic endometriosis-like picture might present with, but I still haven't learned a lot about how to recognize those patients, diagnose them, and treat them outside of my education with Worldwide EndoMarch. So I think there is definitely a lot that can be done there, and a lot of good that Worldwide EndoMarch does as far as educating patients as well as future physicians for an issue that 1 in 10 women will encounter in their lifetime, and likely even more as diagnostic capabilities expand. It's interesting to think that I've attended some of the best public universities in the country and have not encountered a lot of education about endometriosis, so I think it goes to show how much more awareness is still needing to be done and how much more work we have in front of us. My involvement first began as a university advocate. I wanted to start a chapter at my own school and really immerse myself in my community and learn how I could help people suffering from endometriosis in Los Angeles, and then also learn how to raise awareness for people in Los Angeles. So I went ahead and I started the UCLA version of EndoMarch for my college chapter and recruited members and worked with the national headquarters to help put together one of the first fellowships about endometriosis that took place over the summer at the Stanford University Medical Center campus, and helped coordinate a few research projects that were initiated with that project, and recruited people for the clinical shadowing component of that project as well. I also personally participated in that fellowship, and it was very eye-opening. I remember vividly the patient testimonials that we had regarding their experience with endometriosis, and the heartbreaking moment of the woman explaining how she was unable to have children in chronic debilitating pain and referred to psychiatry. I think about that a lot, and I think that part of my interest in endometriosis and OB/GYN as a specialty revolves around patient advocacy and being a really strong proponent for listening to your patients and taking their pain seriously and evaluating everything until you can come up with a suitable answer together. One of the things that I've learned the most from the Doctors Najat is collaboration is an integral part of medical care. Nothing should be unilateral. Patients have so much that they can tell you about their body, and you have so much you can tell them about your medical knowledge, and together you can really create a beautiful partnership and a treatment that can really improve lives and hopefully reduce disease burden as well. Since then, I've been involved in many marches. I've helped organize some marches and even spoken at some marches. I've helped other medical students at their universities start their own branches of Worldwide EndoMarch, and also still worked with the undergraduate students who were working to raise awareness for endometriosis at their universities. I still stay very involved with my alma mater at UCLA and their branch of Worldwide EndoMarch. Their president, Sophia Kavanaugh, is doing an amazing job, and she organized one of the largest University of California, Los Angeles marches that I've ever seen, which was a huge feat and really amazing to see all of those people come together and celebrate raising awareness and the strength of these women that suffer with endometriosis every day. It's hard to put into words how much I've learned. I feel that I've learned so much from my experience with Worldwide EndoMarch and shadowing the Doctors Najat, and there truly are no doctors out there that have a better understanding and influence on the field of endometriosis than the Doctors Najat, so I've been really fortunate to be able to learn from them. as far as how I plan to carry the Worldwide EndoMarch mission forward in my career is, for one, patient collaboration and listening to your patients, respecting their experiences and understanding differences in patient presentation and patient treatment, and then also really being cognizant of how social biases play a role in medical care. It's really disheartening to listen to the stories of women who have been suffering with chronic pain be invalidated, not listened to, told to visit psychiatry, or just told that they were complaining. It's such an issue that we take women pain for granted. And hopefully, if there's anything I can bring forward to my future career that is anything reminiscent of what Worldwide EndoMarch has taught me, it would be to be a powerful patient advocate and to listen to what my patients are saying, to really hear them, and to make sure to validate how they feel and search for answers together.
Hi all, my name is Taylor Vakian. I'm 29 years old and I'm an Endo warrior. First, I'd like to thank Dr. Nazat and the Worldwide EndoMarch for letting me tell my story. Hopefully my story will raise awareness about endometriosis and will help anyone in pain know that they are not alone in fighting against endometriosis. My symptoms began when I was 14 years old, around 15 years ago. I was seen in the emergency room several times for lower abdominal pain. After multiple ER visits and unexplainable lab work and imaging, I was ultimately admitted to the hospital. At the time, the physicians did not have an explanation for my pain. After being admitted to the hospital for over a week, I became septic and was taken in for emergent exploratory surgery. I was found to have bilateral ovarian torsion due to the extremely large ovarian cysts, which were likely due to endometriosis. I had one tube and ovary removed due to the severity of torsion and one ovary which was salvaged. After the surgery, I continued to have pain. From age 14 to 18, I constantly felt awful. Symptoms ranging from fatigue, brain fog, severe abdominal pain with bloating. I was seen by multiple OBGYNs who did not understand the cause of my pain. Multiple physicians who told me there was absolutely no cure for the pain that I was experiencing. At one point, I was told the pain was in my head and I should see a psychiatrist. I was dismissed by every single one of my OBGYNs that I had seen. After seeing so many physicians, my mom finally decided to go through with one of the physicians' recommendation and to see a fertility specialist for possible egg retrieval and a hysterectomy. The fertility specialist was Dr. Westfall, and she was the first person to inform me that I may have endometriosis. She told me I should go see Dr. Nazat before considering a hysterectomy. To this day, I am grateful for Dr. Westfall referring me to Dr. Nazat because my life was forever changed. Not only was my pain cured, which is so rare for many endo warriors, my career path was also forever changed. The first time I met Dr. Nazat, I felt heard, I felt understood, I felt affirmation for the pain I was suffering with. Reading through the testimonials in Dr. Nazat's office, I finally had someone to relate to. After my first surgery, my pain had significantly decreased. I was placed on hormonal birth control, which helped alleviate my symptoms, although many times pain continued to come and go. From then on, I was on a mission to further understand women's health and causes behind endometriosis and the thought process behind so many physicians who did not understand my diagnosis. I decided the best way to advocate for women was to become a physician myself. I was accepted into the University of California, Davis, where I pursued an undergraduate degree in psychology and biology. Although my dreams to become a physician were high, ultimately my grades suffered from intermittent lapses from pain associated with endometriosis. I was worried I would not be accepted into medical school because of my intermittent struggles with pains of endometriosis and how it affected my grades. I eventually was accepted in American University of the Caribbean in St. Martin, where I'm now going into my 4th year of medical school and will be graduating this August in 2021. Despite being in medical school, my understanding and learning of endometriosis continues to grow. My colleagues in medical school are being taught about endometriosis in an entirely new way than many years ago because of the awareness that is being spread about endometriosis. Endometriosis affects 1 in 10 women. Some women can go 20 to 40 years without a proper diagnosis, which is often made when a woman has difficulty with conception and has infertility. It is a very prevalent diagnosis, yet not many are aware of the diagnosis. Physicians around the world are becoming more and more aware at the possible side effects associated with endometriosis and its effects on virtually any organ. Lack of knowledge of endometriosis affects hospitalization and physician care from the lack of understanding of the illness. This diagnosis should not be a mystery anymore. I hope to be an advocate for women, for those who are unheard, unseen, and suffer from pain of endometriosis and infertility. As a patient who has suffered from endometriosis and as a future physician working to fight against it, I stand with you to raise awareness and understanding of this once difficult diagnosis. By bringing awareness of endometriosis, we are going to stop women from not having the diagnosis. I want women to be heard, understood, and seen. I am proud to be an endo warrior and happy to fight with it.
L'endométriose est un engagement à vie et mal compris par les hommes, terrible pour nos compagnes. Et c'est pour ça que j'EndoMarche.
L'endométriose, c'est aussi de très fortes douleurs quand on va à la selle. Et c'est pour ça que j'EndoMarche.
L'endométriose ne se passe pas dans leur tête. J'EndoMarche pour soutenir les endogirls et apprendre de leur quotidien.
J'EndoMarche comme handicap invisible de l'endométriose car parfois ça m'empêche de garder un emploi. Et toi, pourquoi tu EndoMarches?
J'EndoMarche car ma compagne est une femme sur 10 atteinte d'endométriose. Et toi, pourquoi tu EndoMarches?
J'EndoMarche parce que malgré le diagnostic, les traitements et les opérations, j'ai souffert quotidiennement pendant 4 ans.
J'EndoMarche aussi car l'endométriose est une maladie incurable et je suis impuissant face à elle.
Azote aussi, viens EndoMarche avec nous.
L'endométriose ne crée pas un environnement favorable à la fécondation. Malgré mon endométriose, j'ai réussi à avoir 2 enfants. J'EndoMarche pour dire que l'infertilité n'est pas une fatalité et pour porter un message d'espoir à toutes les femmes.
L'endométriose est une maladie encore mal connue qui gâche la vie des femmes. Brisons le tabou. C'est pour ça que j'EndoMarche.
L'endométriose est la 2e cause d'infertilité au monde. Parlons-en. C'est pour ça que j'EndoMarche.
L'endométriose meurtrit peu à peu la chair des femmes, provoquant des douleurs atroces. Brisons le tabou.
C'est pour ça que j'EndoMarche.
Les premiers symptômes de l'endométriose peuvent apparaître dès la puberté. Et pourtant, il faut attendre entre 5 à 6 ans avant d'avoir un diagnostic. C'est pour ça que j'EndoMarche.
J'EndoMarche car avoir des règles très douloureuses et hémorragiques, ce n'est pas normal.
Ce n'est pas normal de voir mes camarades souffrir en silence et ne pouvant pas les orienter.
Ensemble, brisons ce tabou!
L'endométriose, c'est aussi des fois ma maîtresse qui est pas là une semaine parce qu'elle est à l'hôpital. Et c'est pour ça que j'EndoMarche.
L'endométriose, c'est comme un volcan inattendu qui pète de partout. L'endométriose, allez du partout, EndoMarche 2.0.
Τρέχουμε μόνοι, αλλά όλοι για ένα κοινό σκοπό. Για τη διαφώτιση της ενδομητρίωσης. We all run alone, but for the same reason. To raise awareness for endometriosis. Η ενδομετρίωση είναι μια συχνή, μια χρόνια γυναικολογική πάθηση στις γυναίκες. Μία στις 10 γυναίκες στα γόνιμα χρόνια έχει ενδομετρίωση. Αν βάλουμε όλα τα στατιστικά να τα προσαρμόσουμε στα κυπριακά δεδομένα, υπολογίζουμε περίπου γύρω στις 20 με 25.000 γυναίκες. Υπάρχει αρκετή καθυστέρηση στη διάγνωση. Όμως στην Κύπρο, μιας και το αναφέραμε, έχουμε το άλλο πρόβλημα, ότι μπορεί να γίνεται γρήγορα η διάγνωση, αλλά δυστυχώς προτρέχουμε σε θεραπείες και πιο συγκεκριμένα σε χειρουργικές θεραπείες. Είναι παγκόσμια εκστρατεία η οποία έχει ξεκινήσει από την Αμερική και λαμβάνουν μέρος πάρα πολλές χώρες και η Κύπρος τα τελευταία 5 χρόνια έχει ως στόχο την ευαισθητοποίηση για την ενδομετρίωση, την ενημέρωση των γυναικών του κόσμου, ούτως ώστε να ξέρουμε τι είναι, να ξέρουμε τι πρέπει να κάνουμε. Είμαστε περιορισμένοι λόγω του COVID, δυστυχώς, οπότε μόνο διαδικτυακά και με τα μέσα μαζικής ενημέρωσης ενημερώνουμε τον κόσμο.
Μία στις 10 γυναίκες στην Κύπρο υποφέρει από ενδομητρίωση. Σε όλο τον κόσμο, 200 εκατομμύρια γυναίκες παλεύουν με την πάθηση. Η ενδομητρίωση ενοχοποιείται για προβλήματα υπογονιμότητας, ενώ συχνά δεν δίνει ορατά συμπτώματα. Η έγκαιρη διάγνωση συμβάλλει στην πρόληψη των επιπλοκών της. Μήπως είσαι και εσύ μία από τις γυναίκες που υποφέρει από ενδομητρίωση και δεν το ξέρεις? Ενημερώσου, μίλα με τον γυναικολόγο σου για σωστή αντιμετώπιση και θεραπεία. EndoMarch Cyprus. Στηρίζουμε το παγκόσμιο κίνημα ευαισθητοποίησης και ενημέρωσης για την ενδομητρίωση.
Dr. Linda Papadopoulos. I'm an ambassador for EndoMarch Cyprus. I think the work that EndoMarch has been doing has been critical, not only in raising awareness about the condition, but very importantly about allowing women to feel that sense of entitlement to ask about the condition, to seek help and to connect with others. I think in many ways, being able to feel that you have solutions when you're kind of faced with a condition that's confusing, that's painful, that's a threat to one's reproductive health is key. And I think that's where EndoMarch Cyprus does its brilliant work. Its new campaign about talking about things, about connecting and about seeking the right support is, I think, fundamental in the quality of life of every woman going through this.
Hi, my name is Camilla. Endometriosis, a word that echoes around the world, especially in the month of March, yet few women come forward bravely to say that they're really suffering from it. Could it be because they don't realize or want to believe that this disease has really hit them? Having undergone one operation for endometriosis a few years back and having seen no improvement in the quality of my life, I thought that this condition was something I had to live with forever. Until I was lucky enough to meet the right specialist, and after just a few hours of counseling, he convinced me to pull through one more laparoscopic operation. Now I'm able to live a normal life without pain and suffering. While this disease has threatened to overtake me, it has not. And I owe this to the EndoMarch campaign in Cyprus as the reason to find the right direction. Through its activity and wide network, the campaign raises awareness by sharing information about endometriosis and supporting all women who are victims of this disease. I hope for all of us not only to seek help, but to continue to boldly advocate for ourselves and our health because unfortunately our pain is not often taken seriously. No woman should battle endometriosis on her own, because thanks to EndoMarch awareness, it is no longer an enemy to our health. Thank you.
Endometriosis affects 1 in 10 women and 200 million worldwide. It may cause no problem ever, but it usually affects quality of life, and sometimes so severely that women suffer more than anything else. Daily, I see women with delayed or misdiagnoses, women who underwent multiple and incomplete surgeries, and this is due to lack of awareness, correct information, and correct management. Besides pain, infertility is an equally important consequence of endometriosis. I find the combination of pain and infertility in young and otherwise healthy women with endometriosis the most challenging problem in gynecology. It is an unpredictable disease because different patients may present with different symptoms, different severity, and different progress in time. Every case should be individualized and every consultation should be adapted to each woman's symptoms and needs. Endometriosis has no fixed rules apart from the responsibility to provide the best quality care in each woman. Although in most of the world the emphasis goes on delayed diagnosis, in Cyprus I see the opposite: relatively faster diagnosis but wrong management and surgery done by non-experts. Cyprus is a small island in East Mediterranean Sea with just under 1 million citizens. In 2016, EndoMarch Cyprus kicked off, and since then we have been working hard towards educating women about endometriosis, its symptoms, diagnosis and treatment options. We support Worldwide EndoMarch, and we will continue to raise awareness and help women not only in March but every day of the year. Here from Cyprus, we wish that less women suffer from endometriosis and soon to have the tool to prevent the disease developing. Thank you.
Endometriosis is much more common than most people think. As a matter of fact, 10% of women are diagnosed with endometriosis in their lifetime. Bulgaria has a population of 7 million people. Half of them are female. This means that only in Bulgaria there are 350,000 women who suffer from endometriosis. It is estimated that worldwide this number goes to 400 million cases of endometriosis. Let's raise awareness and support those in need.
Hello everyone.
My name is Tsvetana Boseva.
I'm Dr. Dorian Bosev.
And we are Team Bulgaria.
We raise the awareness and support women with endometriosis.
Let us tell you more about how EndoMarch Team Bulgaria was created and its activities. The EndoMarch initiative was introduced to us by its founder, Dr. Cameron Nejat, in 2018 during the annual EndoMarch in Vienna, Austria. We established the EndoMarch Bulgaria Foundation in 2019 and started our mission supporting patients with endometriosis. This was the first step to our first EndoMarch in Bulgaria. That was both a great possibility and a challenge for us. The start of the EndoMarch initiative in Bulgaria was a success. At the beginning of March, Dr. Bosev had a speech in the Bulgarian National Assembly, presenting the EndoMarch in front of the President of the National Assembly, the chairman of the Health Committee of the government, the Vice Minister of Health, members of the parliament and media representatives. We communicate with the biggest obstetrics and gynecology hospitals in Sofia and some of the hospitals in the country. In the past, these hospitals participated and will continue to participate in the initiative. University Hospital Machindon, Sofia Medical University, Tukula Hospital, Pleven Medical University and St. Marina Hospital support EndoMarch virtual events. Professors, specialists, students, patients and supporters are very enthusiastic to raise awareness for the cause with a simple action, wearing the EndoMarch yellow t-shirt. In March, we organize EndoMarch Open Doors for screening and consulting patients with endometriosis in obstetrics and gynecology hospitals. Nevertheless, that is during the coronavirus pandemic, the Open Doors event makes possible a lot of women to be timely diagnosed with endometriosis and get professional help. Awareness and popularize all the events, webinars and Ask the Expert discussions of Worldwide EndoMarch and EndoMarch Bulgaria Foundation through the medical and patients community. Dr. Bosev was pleased to participate as a panelist in Ask the Expert discussion about chocolate cysts, endometriomas, bladder and ureter endometriosis. Dr. Bosev presented EndoMarch initiative and EndoMarch Team Bulgaria on the National Obstetrics and Gynecologist Conference.
We EndoMarch because more than 200 million people with endometriosis demand and deserve better.
From EndoMarch Team Bulgaria, united,
we stand stronger.
Now, we would like to emphasize the importance of those who helped us and thank them. Without their support, our work would not have been possible. We want to thank Nejat Family Foundation, Worldwide EndoMarch, Health Committee of the Government, Bulgarian Obstetric and Gynecology Association, Ministry of Health, Sofia City Municipality, the Bulgarian Association for Patients' Defense, Endometriosis and Reproductive Health Foundation. Despite the coronavirus pandemic, we continue to support women who suffer from endometriosis. We hope that now more people will know more about this issue. Help us raise more awareness by sharing this video and the EndoMarch initiative with your family and friends. We support women with endometriosis. Let's help them feel better. United, we stand stronger.
Hej allihopa, jag heter Leila och är grundaren till Endocis.
Dear children, women and uterus carriers around the world, my name is Ikram Sofia and I am standing with EndoMarch Sweden as official representatives to shed light on the big issues that we have with the Swedish Health Committee. This is a very hard and personal topic to talk about. Endometriosis is not getting the attention it deserves. There is not enough light shed on the issue because looking at me right now, I do not look very sick. And so do a lot of the women carrying and fighting and battling this disease every day. Here's my...
Det tog mig 26 år att få diagnosen. Under de 26 åren var jag förminskad. Ingen trodde på mig. Det satt bara i huvudet. Jag bollades mellan vårdenheter tills att jag fick. Och under de åren var det nästan ingen som trodde på mig. Jag var ensam. Jag är inget offer. Jag är en överlevare. Jag bär på en styrka som ingen som inte har endometrios kan förstå. Den styrkan, det modet att ha, att leva med att veta att det inte finns ett botemedel mot den sjukdomen du lider av. Vi är många som har gått igenom precis den väg som jag har gjort. Och därför ska den styrkan vi bär på med symptom, med diagnos. Vi ska följa Socialstyrelsens riktlinjer. Vi ska savea upp för våra barns framtid. Våra barn ska känna en trygghet. Vi är ansvaret. Det är vi som ska göra så att de har rätt till sina rättigheter. Rätt att vara barn. Rätt att vara ungdom. Alla livmoderbärare ska ha rätt till samma vård. Jämlikhet. Precis som varje individ i Sverige. Att vi nu är med i Worldwide EndoMarch är världens chans för Sverige. Att komma ikapp. Att komma in, lära sig vad andra länder gör. Hur arbetar med andra länder? Det är första steget. Andra steget är att Sverige agerar. Och det gör vi tillsammans. Team Sweden. Jag är enormt, så fruktansvärt. Jag kan inte beskriva med ord hur stolt jag är över Endocis som tog det här steget. Vi gjorde det och nu gör vi det tillsammans. Det finns inte vi och dem. Nu är vi Team Sweden. Från oss på Endocis till er alla där ute. Ta väl hand om varandra. Glöm inte hur värdefulla ni är. Ta fram någonting gult ni har hemma. Blås upp en gul ballong, en gul disktrasa, ett skohorn. Måla en gul nagel. Skriv en hashtag. Team Sweden. Endocis. Worldwide. Nu kör vi enade tillsammans.
Sokan küzdenek ezzel a problémával. Bátrabbnak kell lenni, nem kell félni ettől a betegségtől, tudnak tenni magukért.
Azt gondolom, hogy időbeni felismeréssel ez a betegség nagyon jól gyógyítható, jó életminőség érhető el, és jók az esélyek a teherbeesésre.
Hogyha
valaki úgy érzi, hogy számára nem kapta meg a megfelelő választ, nem kapta meg a megfelelő mennyiségű és pontosságú diagnózist, akkor tessék tovább menni, és próbálja, és menjen, és új helyen, és kérjen másodvéleményt.
Az önbecsülésüket és a nőiességüket adott esetben vissza tudják szerezni akkor, hogyha ebben a szellemiségben gondolkoznak, amit ez a mai rendezvény is tükröz.
Forduljanak ehhez a civil szervezethez bizalommal, segítenek a megfelelő betegutak megtalálásában, hogy minél hamarabb megfelelő kezekbe juthassanak.
Az elmúlt 2,5 év rendkívül eseménydús volt az alapítvány életében. 2018-ban csatlakoztunk a World Endometriosis Organizationhöz, ami egy nemzetközi világszervezet, és az endometriózissal kapcsolatos küzdelemre hívja fel a figyelmet. 2019. január 1-től az endometriózisban érintettek adókedvezményt vehetnek igénybe, amelyet a Női Ligával közösen értünk el. Ekközben az alapítványunk weboldala egy online hiteles forrássá vált, ami azt jelenti, hogy az endometriózissal kapcsolatos alaptudnivalók, szakértők, különböző terápiák egy helyen elérhetőek. Az edukációt támogatjuk különböző kiadványokkal, ezek online és fizikai formában is elérhetőek. 2019-től 200 000 példányban jutott el endometriózis kisokos érintettekhez, amelyeket patikákban, védőnőknél, szakorvosoknál, nőgyógyászoknál vehettek át. 2019-ben debütált a Lucy menstruációs és termékenységi applikáció, ami annyival tud többet más applikációkhoz képest, hogy a felvitt tüneteket elemzi, és bizonyos tünetek együttállásánál jelez, hogyha probléma merülhet fel. Így akár egy 9 évig tartó diagnózis, vagy egy 9. év után elérhető diagnózis akár 1 év múlva megtörténhet. Az applikációt meg tudjuk mutatni a nőgyógyászunknak is, és ez alapján is sokkal hamarabb eredményre vezethet, ez alapján sokkal hamarabb megtudhatjuk, hogy endometriózisunk van. A csapatunk folyamatosan bővül, és évek óta dolgozunk azért közösen, hogy az endometriózis minél szélesebb körben ismertté váljon, és nők százezreinek életét könnyítsük meg.
Hi Endo friends, I am Başak. I'm from Istanbul, Turkey, and I'm 38 years old. I'm also a volunteer for Endometriosis and Endometriosis Society, Turkey. I've always had painful, heavy periods, and not just my period days, but all through my menstrual phases, alongside with digestive problems, unexpected pelvic pain and nausea. But 10 years ago, during my period, I've experienced an excruciating pain. It was almost unbearable. And only after that, I thought there was something wrong with it, and I seek help, and I diagnosed with endometriosis. Unfortunately, pelvic pain, period in pain, and woman in pain considered normal in our societies. We don't talk about it. We believe we have to endure it. We don't ask help. We don't seek help about it. And we don't have a chance to rest as much as we need to. Endometriosis is not just a complex physical problem. It also affects our daily lives, our jobs, our routines, our intimacy, in most cases, our fertility. Most women carry this illness with their whole life, with uncertainty and heartbreaks, and it's already too much. So help your sister, your love of your life, your wife, your friend, and learn more about endometriosis. Ask what you can do. Don't normalize the pain. It really, really means more than you know. Thank you so much.
Hi, my name's Rebecca. I'm 29 and I'm from Ipswich, Suffolk in England. I've been diagnosed with endometriosis from the age of 21 after having 2 children and quite a lengthy process of being diagnosed, to be honest. They were quite dismissive of it because I had 2 children and because of my age I was quite young, but doesn't matter. Endometriosis you can have at any age. So since then I've found a specialist endometriosis hospital because the first thing that the consultant said to me when I come around from the diagnostic lab was, do you want any more children and you know your own body, because you do have endometriosis. So after seeking out a specialist hospital, I've been with them for 6 years. I've tried multiple hormone treatments, I've tried the holistic approach, I've also had 6 surgeries. I've been diagnosed with adenomyosis as well. I'm on the waiting list to have surgery, the urgent list to have surgery for a hysterectomy to treat adenomyosis. But a hysterectomy does not treat endometriosis, that is a myth. I will be having a bowel resection and a stoma bag fitted because I've got this rectal vaginal endometriosis. So because of the bowel and the rectum and the vagina all being fused together, that's why I'm having the stoma bag. All because of endo. So it's not just a bad period. It affects my everyday living, it affects social life, it affects my marriage, it affects my children, it affects everything. The pain is awful, the symptoms are awful, bowel issues. So I just really hope that one day there's a cure. And yeah, this is not a bad period. This is not 1 week out of the month. It is every day.
We are really glad that we can be here with you for this EndoMarch 2021, and we would really like to say thank you to the organizers of this event, because it is so nice, the possibility to be together, although we cannot be in reality together. So once again, thank you very much. We, as a Team Germany, are members of the Endometriosis Dialogue, the association that was grounded in 2019 and which main aim is to bring together all of the people who have something to do with the endometriosis. We really try to bring more public knowledge to this topic and also to connect the affected women with the specialists, with the doctors, with the scientists, or also with the politics, because we really think that together we can help to improve our situation. And now to the main point, endometriosis. As very probably most of you know, the consequences of this disease are really hard for the woman. They are not just physical consequences, but also psychical and social. Another thing is that this disease is really individual, and it affects a lot of women in different way. And the way how it is affect them is also changing through their life. It can go from the infertility till the problems during the menopause, so through the whole reproductive life of the woman. Also, the magnitude of the affection is different for different women. Some of us can live nearly normal life with just a little bit pain, but some of us are really struggling to go to the work or to take care of their children. That is the reason why it is really important to bring more public knowledge to our disease. In the last years, the new cases of the endometriosis are attacking the rates of the new cases of the breast cancer. Although the numbers are really high, the public knowledge about this topic is still very lacking, and unfortunately also between the doctors. We can say, I think all of us can say, that the thing that the most of the women wants so much is the way to the quick and easy diagnosis, and not to need to wait really a lot of years. As I said, the main problem of this disease is that a lot of people know nearly nothing about it. And therefore, the events like this are really, really important, because we need to bring the public attention to us, to our problem, to our topic. And from this reason, I would really, really like to thank to all of the participants of the EndoMarch. We are stronger together, and we can really help each other better together. So thank you very much for your participation. If there will be more public knowledge about our topic, we will probably have a possibility to get easier to the diagnose. There will be more educated doctors. There will be also maybe more possibilities of the treatment, and especially there will be more support. And I guess the support is what we need the most. One of the biggest problems that affected women has in Germany is that the treatment is still more focused on the classical medicine, and it is focused on building of the centers, it is focused on the surgeries that are not anytime necessary, and it is focused really on really just in the short term on what the woman needs. Although the situation is a little bit better in the last years, there is still 9 years till the woman gets the diagnosis, which is really, really a lot. There are still, what is really lacking is some long-term support, something that would help a woman to live their everyday life and to deal with the disease and with the pain. Moreover, in the official treatments, there are not so much reflected the advantage of the exchange of the experience and the support that the woman can get from the supporting group. Therefore, it is a little bit more difficult to create the broad network of the supporting groups through the Germany. When we summarize one of the aims of our association, it is that we need not just attention, we need also education. So we do not need just for the public to know about our disease. We also need to educate the woman and educate the society about what it means and what is good and what not. The education should be done not just from the doctors but also from the woman, and this is exactly where the supporting groups can help, because they can help the woman educate to another woman, which we think is really, really important. And especially the problem is that we need the better information, because now on the internet you can find a lot of different types of the information, and we need really the good source of the information. We as the Endometriosis Dialogue want to create the network through the whole Germany. We want to give them opportunity to connect and the opportunity to exchange the information. We want to bring together affected women with the doctors or with the scientists or also with the politicians. So there will be really possibility to find the way how to help the woman. And also we would like to do some independent research when we will be connected together. We can also do some research which can in reality help the woman with their situation. There are so much topics that needs to be addressed. For example, we would really like to help women to get the easy access to some individual consultation about the alternatives and about the complementary medicine and about solving their concrete individual situation. Another problem which is there is that we think that the woman should be able to take part easily on the congresses about the endometriosis and symposiums, because there they can get the primary information. And unfortunately, in the present, they can take a part, but it is very, very expensive. And if the woman is not part of some association, it is very hard for them to take part on this congress or symposium. Me personally, I am from the Prague, and in 2019 there was the big congress in the Prague. And I thought, okay, I would really like to take part on it, but it was 500 euro. You would need to pay 500 euro, which is really a lot. So I really would glad to get the information there, and I guess a lot of another women would also like to have this possibility. So we should open it to them, because it will help all of us. I guess it would be also helpful for the doctors to hear the perspective of the women that are living with this disease. It would be beneficial for both sides, because the doctors would be able to get the information from the woman how it is living with the endometriosis, because in reality we are the best specialists about our disease because we are living with it. We as the Endometriosis Dialogue would like to invite everybody to take part on our network, especially the people from the European countries, because we would love to create some network, some connection between the association, between the teams through the whole Europe. Because we are together in the same boat and we want the same things, and it will be definitely easier when we will go together for the same goal, and it will help us all together. So please, if you are interested, contact us, and we are really looking forward to hear from you. And finally, I would like to thank you for your attention, and I would really once again like to say thank you to everybody who are taking part on the EndoMarch. Enjoy the rest of this event, and I really hope that we gave you some ideas about which you can think now, and we are looking forward to some discussion with you. So feel free to contact us if you want to speak about some of the topics we covered in this speak. Thank you very much.
Hi, I'm Michaela Abenson. I'm 28 years old from Manchester, United Kingdom. My symptoms started at age 12 with painful periods, bloating, fainting, as well as heavy periods. I didn't get diagnosed with endometriosis until age 18, but at age 15 I got diagnosed with Crohn's disease. To this day, we don't know if it was a misdiagnosis or not, but I am now looking into that, as endometriosis has affected my bowel function. Over the past 10 years, I've had 8 excision surgeries, 2 emergency C-sections, and 1 open abdominal surgery. Through the help of fertility treatment, I was lucky enough to have 2 miracle children. I believe the reason for my 8 excision surgeries was I didn't see a gynecologist or endometriosis specialist who was knowledgeable enough in endometriosis, and each time they either didn't remove it properly or left some behind. If endometriosis is removed properly and with pelvic floor therapy, you can have a good 3 to 5 years. However, over the last 10 years, I never got that. In January, due to long-term internal bleeding and the damage done to my body, I had to have open abdominal surgery where I had a hysterectomy and full excision surgery. Endometriosis had spread to my bowel, bladder and peritoneum wall. I'm currently 7 weeks post-op and I've lost function of my bowel and I'm having severe bladder issues. I'm waiting for tests to be done on both of these. But the point I'm trying to make is endometriosis has no cure. Even after a hysterectomy, there's still a chance it could grow back, and my body is still struggling with the long-term damage caused by endometriosis.
Il Team Italy è composto da 7 donne affette da endometriosi che ogni anno volontariamente si dedicano all'organizzazione della marcia mondiale contro l'endometriosi a Roma nel mese di marzo ed ad altre attività finalizzate alla conoscenza dell'endometriosi. Benny, Chiara, Francesca, Eleonora, Patrizia, Giovanna, Vania. Questi sono i volti delle donne che promuovono le iniziative per sensibilizzare sull'endometriosi. Numerose sono le attività informative che svolge tutto l'anno il Team Italy. Con la call to action Facciamo luce sull'endometriosi è stato possibile illuminare nel mese di marzo i bellissimi monumenti italiani di giallo, in modo di tingere il più possibile l'Italia del colore simbolo della nostra patologia. A seguito dell'emergenza sanitaria da Covid-19 abbiamo deciso di implementare le iniziative online. Durante l'ultimo anno abbiamo organizzato un ciclo di dirette web con ginecologi e altri specialisti esperti di endometriosi, con i quali abbiamo approfondito i vari e molteplici aspetti dell'endometriosi.
Per favorire la conoscenza dell'endometriosi e infondere coraggio alle donne e alle rispettive famiglie, raccogliamo storie di donne affette dalla patologia e le condividiamo poi sui nostri social utilizzando l'hashtag Io ci metto la faccia. Per questo sabato 27 marzo abbiamo organizzato poi un'edizione virtuale della marcia, la Virtual EndoMarch Italy. Partecipare è stato semplicissimo, è bastato indossare un indumento giallo, scattarsi una foto e condividerla sui propri canali social utilizzando gli hashtag Lontane ma unite e Stop al silenzio. Il supporto dei medici nella nostra azione di informazione è senza dubbio fondamentale e solo grazie alla meravigliosa sinergia che si è venuta a creare in questi anni di attività di sensibilizzazione che siamo riusciti ad organizzare una convention virtuale prevista per la giornata di domani, domenica 28 marzo, a partire dalle ore 10. Una vera e propria maratona online dedicata all'endometriosi, che verrà trasmessa sui nostri canali social e alla quale prenderanno parte medici italiani e stranieri e figure legate al mondo dell'istituzione e del volontariato. Oggi ci teniamo tantissimo a ringraziare tutti coloro che da sempre ci sostengono nella nostra attività di informazione volta a creare maggiore consapevolezza sull'endometriosi. In Italia ci sono importanti centri di riferimento per il trattamento dell'endometriosi e per la ricerca sulla patologia. Uno fra questi è l'ospedale Sacro Cuore Don Calabria a Negrar, in provincia di Verona. Di seguito è previsto un intervento del primario del reparto di ginecologia ed ostetricia, il professor Marcello Ceccaroni.
Buongiorno a tutti, sono Marcello Ceccaroni, direttore del Dipartimento per la tutela della salute e qualità di vita della donna a Negrar di Val Policella, Verona, Italia. Uno dei centri più grossi al mondo per la diagnosi, la cura e il trattamento dell'endometriosi pelvica severa. L'endometriosi è una patologia estremamente aggressiva, è una patologia estremamente diffusa, rappresenta una delle più importanti e feroci patologie croniche infiammatorie che esistano nell'essere umano, e in modo particolare con un'incidenza davvero alta. Si stima che in Italia ci siano tra i 3 e i 5 milioni di donne affette da endometriosi, colpisce circa una donna su 10 in età fertile e nel mondo ha la stessa incidenza del diabete. Circa 180 milioni di pazienti diabetici nel mondo, circa 175 milioni di pazienti endometriosiche, e sono stime sicuramente decisamente sottostimate. Quello che caratterizza l'endometriosi è innanzitutto un enorme senso di sfida, una sfida che passa attraverso il fatto che è una patologia davvero subdola, una patologia che spesso si manifesta in dei contesti in cui non viene riconosciuta per tutto un insieme di fattori che sono essenzialmente culturali, ma anche di metodiche o di sensibilità diagnostica, e che passa attraverso lunghi periodi nei quali non viene correttamente diagnosticata, ritardi diagnostici e una ferocia particolare che ha nel riuscire a continuare con questo fronte d'onda infiammatoria ad andare ad infiltrare organi e tessuti anche al di fuori dell'utero e delle ovaie. Questa malattia è una malattia che di fatto porta non soltanto a un dolore cronico che diventa invalidante, ma tutta una serie di sintomi che sono particolarmente feroci, proprio perché vanno a riguardare tutte le sfere della vita viscerale e di conseguenza anche della vita relazionale della donna. Infatti ci sono fortissimi dolori durante le mestruazioni, che cominciano però ad accompagnarsi anche, in caso di diffusioni extragenitali della malattia, a fortissimi dolori durante la defecazione, dolori durante i rapporti sessuali, durante la minzione e le funzionalità vescicali in genere, o dolori che si possono irradiare anche ai quadranti alti dell'addome, come al diaframma, con una compromissione spesso anche di strutture molto delicate, nervi. Quindi in poche parole quei delicati fili elettrici che modulano tante delle nostre funzioni, dalla minzione alla defecazione, la lubrificazione e il turgore degli organi genitali durante il rapporto sessuale e anche fibre nervose che traghettano la nostra sensibilità, quella soprattutto la sensibilità legata al dolore, detta appunto sensibilità nocicettiva. È un tipo di malattia che è molto difficile da descrivere in parole semplici. Di solito noi utilizziamo l'esempio di una enorme colata di colla dura, tipo superatta, che in qualche modo ogni mese va a sciogliersi e conseguentemente a solidificarsi. È un po' come se in qualche modo ci fosse qualcuno che nello stesso punto va a praticare una ferita che ha un mese di tempo per cicatrizzare e successivamente viene riaperta la ferita nello stesso punto. Dopo tantissimi mesi o nell'arco di anni questa ferita avrà delle caratteristiche ben precise, che sono quelle di una ferita che si infiamma e si infiamma costantemente e ciclicamente ogni mese, ma nello stesso tempo ha anche una ferita che da tanto tempo si è infiammata e quindi ci saranno tutte le caratteristiche anche di un'infiammazione cronica. Questa altalena di cicatrizzazione e infiammazione è un po' come l'andamento che ha la lava di un vulcano durante le eruzioni, ha una fase incandescente, ha una fase in cui si solidifica. Tutto questo è l'endometriosi. Tessuto infiammato, di fatto l'endometrio, il tessuto che normalmente sarebbe all'interno dell'utero e qui si ritrova in delle sedi al di fuori dell'utero e nell'addome o nella pelvi più frequentemente, e questi sanguinamenti anomali in sedi anomale portano appunto a dei tessuti che cicatrizzano e sono come dei piccoli rammendi che si creano all'interno del corpo. Sono quindi delle parti più attive, l'endometriosi stessa, con delle parti che a suo tempo furono attive, a loro tempo furono attive, ma che poi si vengono a cicatrizzare, la cosiddetta fibrosi. La fibrosi è un po' la cugina dell'endometriosi, oppure è una endometriosi che in qualche modo si è spenta, ma che accompagna con questo cordone fibroso il fronte d'avanzamento infiammatorio dell'endometriosi. In poche parole tutto questo crea delle masse e queste masse non solo vanno ad intaccare gli organi, ma vanno anche a comprimerli, a schiacciarli, e quindi ci possono essere a volte anche delle compromissioni sulle funzioni d'organo, quindi l'endometriosi in alcuni casi diventa particolarmente pericolosa. Quindi di fatto questo fronte di avanzamento della endometriosi porta a delle distorsioni dei tessuti che portano a delle caratteristiche ben precise che sono definibili sotto forma di aderenze, noduli, cisti, più caratteristicamente cisti che si realizzano all'ovaio. L'endometriosi quindi crea problematiche molto importanti, problematiche di infertilità, quando è un'endometriosi fuori controllo che compromette non solo la silhouette delle tube, l'anatomia degli organi pelvici, ma anche la qualità e quantità degli ovociti e quindi la fertilità in senso lato. Si stima che dal 25 al 50% delle pazienti affette da endometriosi siano infertili proprio per colpa dell'endometriosi. Ma l'endometriosi col tempo può diventare una patologia che crea un dolore cronico sempre più invalidante, ma anche mettere in pericolo in alcuni casi la vita. Può infatti creare dei danni d'organo molto importanti, come ad esempio quei danni che si creano legati all'infiltrazione del retto e quindi alla sua stenosi, cioè al restringimento patologico del retto con delle possibilità occlusive, o infiltrazioni di altri visceri quali ad esempio gli ureteri, questi tubini che portano le urine in vescica e che possono essere in qualche modo schiacciati progressivamente, ostruiti, rischiando quindi di far perdere alla donna la funzionalità del rene o il rene stesso. A volte l'endometriosi infiltra anche dei nervi delle gambe, i cosiddetti nervi somatici, portando progressivamente a delle ridotte funzionalità dell'arto, della deambulazione, della guida. Oppure può creare delle sindromi di dolore cronico che viene in qualche modo memorizzato dai sistemi cerebrali, e quindi quando il dolore è centralizzato è un dolore anche difficile da far sparire, anche una volta risolta la problematica della patologia endometriosica. Ci sono delle sindromi molto importanti neurologiche caratterizzate proprio da questa modalità infiltrativa e compressiva che l'endometriosi a volte ha su queste radici nervose. Inoltre l'endometriosi crea quindi una serie di problemi che sono anche nella vita sociale, nella vita relazionale, nell'anima di una donna, perché va a colpire la sfera della fertilità, della genitorialità, la sfera delle relazioni di coppia, delle relazioni sociali in generale, essendo un dolore invalidante che tiene a casa e a letto in buona sostanza, ma anche una serie di reali impedimenti nella realizzazione professionale oppure proprio nel lavoro. In effetti l'endometriosi è davvero causa, da un punto di vista puramente speculativo ed economico, di un notevole danno economico alla società, in quanto non solo c'è una ridotta produttività che le pazienti hanno nel non andare al lavoro, ma perché è una patologia che richiede tutta una serie di indagini diagnostiche, cure farmacologiche, cure chirurgiche che sono estremamente costose. Quindi l'endometriosi è di fatto una piaga sociale, un nemico subdolo che va sconfitto, e va sconfitto con astuzia. Un'astuzia che richiede quindi una cooperazione e soprattutto uno sforzo che non deve essere più settorializzato a una ricerca biologica oppure alla metodica chirurgica. Cercare cioè quindi di capire che l'endometriosi è un nemico da sconfiggere essendo più astuti di lui. Uno dei più importanti passi avanti che sicuramente si possa fare è cercare di creare una sensibilità alla patologia endometriosica nella popolazione. In questo le associazioni di pazienti sono estremamente preziose, in quanto ci permettono di arrivare non solo loro in prima persona, ma anche noi medici da loro invitati, a comunicare alle adolescenti, ad esempio nelle scuole o in eventi divulgativi e comunicativi dappertutto in giro per il mondo, o anche a congressi o corsi per medici di base o ginecologi di base. In poche parole, imparare a insegnare alle persone che questa patologia è una patologia che può essere davvero drammatica, una patologia che può avere dei risvolti davvero aggressivi. In effetti c'è una quota, circa il 30% della endometriosi, che ha davvero una modalità di diffusione aggressiva, multiviscerale, molto feroce, e quindi non è una normale patologia delle aderenze o di un po' di infertilità. È una patologia che spesso davvero crea dei danni importanti. Assieme a questo sforzo culturale di divulgazione, sicuramente si deve abbinare uno sforzo che porti alla diagnosi precoce. Ma è chiaro che imparando a capire che il dolore mestruale non è una cosa normale, non è una cosa che siccome la nonna lo sopportava allora è normale, è un dolore che deve portare i genitori o la paziente stessa, già da adolescente, a sensibilizzarsi a ulteriori approfondimenti diagnostici. E da qui deve nascere una cultura dei medici di base e dei ginecologi di base a capire che l'endometriosi può avere dei risvolti davvero aggressivi e spesso può essere profonda, nascondersi cioè in profondità, quasi come un tartufo si nasconde sottoterra, e che non basta l'assenza di cisti ovariche per negare l'esistenza di un'endometriosi profonda. Ci sono poi quindi una serie di esami molto importanti che si devono fare alla paziente. Il primo esame, che è il più economico, è quello di ascoltarla. ascoltare i suoi sintomi che hanno delle caratteristiche ben precise e nella narrazione che la paziente fa saper cogliere quegli elementi che fanno pensare a un dolore che da ciclico si è fatto cronico. A questo chiaramente va abbinata una corretta metodica diagnostica. Oggi le metodiche più importanti, quali quelle della diagnostica ecografica e degli esami strumentali più approfonditi come la risonanza magnetica o l'urotac, sempre meno di utilizzo ma ancora efficace il clisma opaco nella valutazione della silhouette dell'intestino eventualmente compromesso, sono estremamente utili per permettere di fare diagnosi di endometriosi profonda, ma è la visita ginecologica che può permettere davvero di arrivare a una corretta topografia della distribuzione delle lesioni. A questo punto ci sono tutta un'altra serie di filoni che devono supportare l'attività clinica, la ricerca genetica, la ricerca biomolecolare, la ricerca immunologica, perché pare che anche nei sistemi di immunosorveglianza ci siano degli elementi che possono essere chiamati in causa nella recrudescenza o meno di questa patologia. E quindi la biologia, ma anche la farmacologia. L'endometriosi è una patologia che deve soprattutto cercare di essere curata come una malattia curata con delle medicine. Non significa che una paziente che ha endometriosi necessariamente si deve operare, anzi, idealmente la paziente con endometriosi è quella paziente che viene presa per mano dal suo ginecologo e viene trasportata verso la sua menopausa, quando sarà tanti anni dopo, utilizzando freno e frizione, utilizzando farmaci e utilizzando attese, utilizzando degli aiuti per farla eventualmente rimanere incinta e cercare quindi che la paziente viva anni di benessere realizzando i suoi sogni di ricerca di gravidanza qualora lo desiderasse, ma la qualità di vita innanzitutto. Questo sarebbe il mondo ideale, ma in realtà è un mondo al quale si può giungere, è un mondo che rappresenta tantissime pazienti che sono in cura. Tanto per intenderci, il nostro centro, che è uno dei centri che vede e tratta uno dei numeri maggiori al mondo di pazienti, vede circa 12-13 mila pazienti all'anno e di queste ne vengono operate circa 1500. Questo significa che il 9% delle pazienti del nostro centro, che comunque è un centro di riferimento e quindi arrivano da noi pazienti già programmate per essere sottoposte ad un intervento chirurgico, solo al 9% noi diamo un'indicazione assoluta e categorica alla chirurgia. Vuol dire cioè che il restante 91% viene ulteriormente sottoposto a una chance di trattamento farmacologico della malattia. La chirurgia quindi diventa un elemento importante? Sì, lo diventa importante in tutti quei casi nei quali la malattia sfugga al controllo farmacologico. Per controllo farmacologico ovviamente intendiamo un controllo di terapie ormonali che siano estroprogestiniche o progestiniche, che vanno trovate tentando 1000 volte di trovare il farmaco giusto, provando e riprovando, in modo tale che si trovi tra le tante formulazioni ormonali quella che sia più adatta a quella singola paziente. Non esiste una pillola uguale per tutti, non esiste una possibilità di trattamento farmacologico uguale per tutti. Assieme a questo non vanno sottovalutati gli stili di vita, l'attività fisica, corretti stili di vita e la nutrizione, assieme a tutto quello che è il mondo degli integratori che oggi sono a disposizione, possono portare a un effetto sinergico che portano a un benessere psicofisico di quella paziente e quindi a evitare una chirurgia. La chirurgia ideale per una paziente endometriosica è quella che non si realizza mai e questo sarebbe il nostro obiettivo. Nei casi in cui la chirurgia sia strettamente indicata è chiaro che è fondamentale pensare ad alcune regole ferree. Quando si opera, cercare di operare quella paziente il meno possibile. È davvero drammatico nei centri di riferimento, come può essere il nostro, vedere che la mediana degli interventi chirurgici delle nostre pazienti precedenti interventi chirurgici è di 3, con un range che va da 0 a 22, cioè vuol dire che quella paziente sarà la paziente che da noi riceve in media il 4º intervento chirurgico per endometriosi della sua vita. E questa è sicuramente una sconfitta, perché tutte le statistiche dicono che dopo un trattamento chirurgico radicale in tutti i centri del mondo l'endometriosi ha un tasso di recidiva che è attorno al 7-8% e meno della metà di queste pazienti che recidivano saranno pazienti da candidare a una chirurgia. Allora ci dobbiamo interrogare realmente su quello che è un corretto timing per la realizzazione di un evento chirurgico in quella singola paziente. Un corretto timing al fine di evitare delle chirurgie inadeguate, superficiali, che si stratifichino sul corpo e sulla pelvi di quella paziente, andando ulteriormente ad impoverire il suo patrimonio follicolare, la sua riserva ovarica e aggiungere cicatrici alle cicatrici. Non c'è niente di peggio che affrontare la pelvi chirurgicamente di una paziente che è già stata operata più volte e dove la malattia non recidivante ma persistente per anni è stata in grado di lavorare ed agire indisturbata. Io e i miei collaboratori, la fatica più grande che facciamo con tante pazienti che arrivano da noi in attesa di un parere cosiddetto dell'esperto, è proprio quella di convincere molte pazienti a non operarsi. Sono pazienti che in qualche modo magari sono asintomatiche, giovanissime, ventenni, diciottenni, che hanno una cisti ovarica piccolina, 3 cm, 4 cm, ma arrivano da noi già terrorizzate, perché gli è stato detto che allora è una malattia che le renderà sterili, che devono operarsi a tutti i costi. E la fatica più grossa che noi facciamo è quella di riuscire a conquistare la fiducia di quella paziente che ci vede in qualità di esperti per la prima volta, mentre invece è cresciuta col proprio medico di famiglia, e convincerla che non si deve operare, che c'è tempo, che con una pillola quella cisti può ridursi o addirittura scomparire e che è molto importante destinare la chirurgia a quando ci sono o dei rischi di danno d'organo o una grave compromissione della fertilità oppure a un dolore incoercibile refrattario ai trattamenti farmacologici. Ecco quindi che anche un corretto timing per la chirurgia è fondamentale per il benessere di questa paziente. Quando la chirurgia deve essere quindi realizzata, è auspicabile che sia radicale. Radicale perché, come abbiamo detto, questo è l'unico trattamento che può portare la paziente ad avere un tasso di recidive davvero basso. Molto spesso nei nostri centri vediamo pazienti ormai rassegnate al concetto che ogni anno tanto hanno una recidiva e si devono sottoporre a una chirurgia. Quello è un segno di una chirurgia non adeguata, non radicale, ricevuta in precedenza, e non c'è niente di più dannoso che questo tipo di chirurgia. Quindi il trattamento chirurgico dell'endometriosi è paradossale, possibilmente non operare, ed è questo il paradosso più grande, ma quando si opera deve essere fatto il numero minore di volte e nella maniera più accurata. Trattamenti radicali vuol dire anche trattamenti che siano purtroppo aggressivi su quella pelvi dove la malattia ha agito indisturbata per anni o persistentemente ha creato danni o ha recidivato varie volte. E a questo punto ecco che in atto ci sono le cosiddette tecniche fertility sparing, nerve sparing, perché il nostro obiettivo è quello di preservare la fertilità di quella paziente se lo richiede, nello stesso tempo ripristinare una anatomia il più corretta possibile dopo questi interventi, ma preservare anche il più possibile le funzioni pelviche, ossia la qualità di vita neurologica di quella pelvi e quindi la qualità di vita di quella donna, le funzioni sessuali, la funzionalità vescicale, la funzionalità rettale. Ecco che quindi un campo davvero importante, quasi altrettanto importante quanto la biologia molecolare, che forse un giorno ci porterà a curare l'endometriosi con un farmaco e non andare più in sala operatoria, questo è auspicabile, al momento è drammaticamente altrettanto importante la ricerca chirurgica, la ricerca che soprattutto passa attraverso le sale settorie, le dissezioni anatomiche che oggi noi facciamo costantemente su dei modelli che sono sostanzialmente dei preparati anatomici, quindi dissezioni cadaveriche, per mettere in atto tutta una serie di strategie chirurgiche moderne che ci possono portare ad una chirurgia a ridotto impatto ambientale su quella pelvi, ma anche nella vita di quella donna. Questa è la sfida finale che noi vogliamo lanciare all'endometriosi, e in iniziative, in giornate come questa, sicuramente il fatto che ci sia una sensibilità in tutto il mondo verso questa patologia, verso non soltanto le sue vittime, ma il fatto che le sue vittime siano qui a testimoniare la loro storia per essere di esempio e di aiuto alle future generazioni, sicuramente è una cosa bellissima che solo qualche anno fa aveva delle difficoltà a essere così compresa. L'unica strategia per vincere questo nemico così subdolo e così furbo e così intelligente è quello di essere più subdoli, più furbi e più intelligenti di lui, e questo si può fare semplicemente attraverso una cultura che innanzitutto ci porti a capire che cos'è questa patologia e soprattutto a far capire alle persone, dalle pazienti ai medici, i risvolti che questa patologia può avere e di come una diagnosi precoce ci possa portare a curare la malattia con dei farmaci, evitando quindi idealmente la chirurgia e la sala operatoria. Sono convinto che le generazioni future, le figlie delle pazienti endometriosiche, saranno molto avvantaggiate dal fatto di avere delle madri sensibili al problema, che anziché dire loro è normale, diranno loro vieni con me dal ginecologo, ma soprattutto anche perché si troveranno in una società che decisamente è molto più sensibilizzata al problema, compresi gli stessi medici e gli stessi ginecologi. Per cui direi che questa giornata è una giornata importantissima per tutti noi, e se ci contiamo ormai siamo un esercito davvero numeroso in tutto il mondo, e l'endometriosi deve avere davvero una gran paura.
Il y a des gens à secourir? Des endo quoi? Des endo-girls? Ah, les femmes qui ont l'endométriose. Ah, mais elles n'ont pas besoin de moi. Elles sont déjà si fortes avec tout ce qu'elles subissent au quotidien. Entre l'errance médicale, la douleur, la souffrance, les médicaments, les opérations, la solitude, l'infertilité. Moi, je vous dis, c'est des vraies guerrières. Elles ont aussi des proches de leur côté. Et quelques médecins super. Venez, je vais vous montrer.
Coming up for air, I'm all out of breath. Beating up my heart in my chest. I see the city lights, they're shining bright. Been a long year, been a long road. Chaos banging down on my door. I know the finish line's just out of sight. elephants playing games, driving me insane. But if it's real, I don't mind it. I wanna take a chance, let the earth shake, so I can feel the rush in my veins. And when it's showing me the way, I won't hesitate. I feel it in my bones. I don't know how, don't know where, don't know when. I feel it in my bones that this is just the calm before a storm. The calm before a storm.
Oh baby, I'll take you down, I'll take you down, where no one's ever gone before. And if you want more, if you want more, jump for my love, jump in, feel my touch, jump if you want to take my kisses in the night, then jump for my love.
Je suis 1 sur 10, mais j'ai choisi. C'est pas l'endo qui me définit. Yes!
I saw him care for me, praying endlessly. When he broke in tears, that was hard to see. Not easy, not easy. The demons after me, and the light is off. I can't see the waves are crashing hard. How would you do? How would you do it? Where am I headed? What is the answer? Sometimes I find that I'm the only one who ever dared to walk the fire. I'm fire. Well, I'm a fighter, I'm a soldier, not a downer, but a dreamer. Fire. I'm fire. Going higher, thinking wider, with my life on the wire. On the wire. Oh, barely 32. The blood was turning blue as I broke all the rules, looking like a midnight moon. Not easy, not easy. The blackness of their eyes hides the light above. I can't see the way out of the storm. How would you do? How would you do it? Where am I headed? What is the answer? Sometimes I found that I'm the only one who ever dared to walk the fire. I'm fire. Well, I'm a fighter, I'm a soldier, not a downer, but a dreamer. Fire. I'm fire. Going higher, thinking wider, with my life on the wire. On the wire. Life on the wire. On the wire. Yeah, I look to the sky with my head in the clouds as I walk on a wire to the other side. And I know I'm alright when I look at a child. Sometimes I realize that they're the ones who really dare to walk the fire. Fire. I'm fire. I'm fire. Well, I'm a fighter, I'm a soldier, not a downer, but a dreamer. Fire. I'm fire. Going higher, thinking wider, with my life on the wire. On the wire. Life on the wire.
TDO Woman Fusion soutient Endo et l'EndoMarch.
Ah, l'endométriose, quelle est cette drôle de chose?
qui rarement est en pause et laisse tant d'échymoses. Cette maladie infâme, en Suisse c'est un drame, touche plus de 100 000 âmes, c'est souvent l'homme et femme. Yololo, 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 yololo. Douleur méprisée, soignant mal informé, diagnostic erroné, traitements inadaptés. Non, ça n'est pas normal, tous les mois d'avoir mal, c'est malaise et c'est râle, à en perdre le moral. Yololo, 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 yololo. Ne restons plus cachés, parlons de nos vies brisées, ne soyons plus gênés, faisons-lui un pied de nez. Au travers de nos proses, voyons la vie en rose, crions notre overdose de l'endométriose. Yololo, 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 yololo. Ensemble d'une même voix, marchons avec la foi, qu'un jour le monde saura qu'une survie ça ne fait pas. Ensemble d'une même voix, marchons avec la foi, qu'un jour le monde saura qu'une survie ça ne fait pas. Yololo, 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 yololo,
Hello everyone, we are Team UK for the Worldwide Endo March. I'm Emma, the Volunteer Coordinator at Endometriosis UK, and it's my pleasure to introduce you to the London team.
Hi, my name is Susie and I've been organising the London Endo March since 2015, along with Helen, who runs one of the London support groups, Sarah, who runs the South Essex support group, and Natasha, who runs another London support group. We all have endometriosis and can relate to the pain and suffering millions of women around the world are going through daily. Our combined total of number of surgeries is 14. We've waited over 30 years to be diagnosed and have had more scans, consultations and examinations than we care to remember. Between us, we have tried a huge number of treatments, medications and lifestyle changes and are grateful for each other's support to help us get through the tough times. The London Endo March has grown hugely over the years, and the last time we met, it consisted of over 800 people. It's so empowering to be part of such a huge group, all there to raise awareness and share experiences. There is so much positive energy, and we love bringing all these people together to show them that they aren't alone on their journeys and to raise awareness, which could hopefully reduce the time it takes for some people to be diagnosed. Being one of the London Endo March organisers is so rewarding, and I feel lucky to be part of such a great team.
And now you'll hear from the Leeds team.
Hi, my name is Keisha. I'm one of the founders of the Leeds Endometriosis March, along with Endometriosis UK Wakefield, the Endometriosis Centre at Wakefield and Leeds City Council. We've come together to raise awareness in the north of England, because there wasn't an endometriosis march at the moment for the north of England. We know that there's not a lot of knowledge around endometriosis, so we wanted to raise that profile in the north and try to get some more endometriosis centres opened as well as raising an inquiry in Leeds itself. We want to try and educate younger people in the city and across the north, and encourage other people in the north as well to set up their own endometriosis marches, as well as helping to people with endometriosis in the north to save them from travelling, and also to up the profile for Endometriosis UK and other organisations as well, to raise that awareness, as there is around 20,000 people across Leeds with endometriosis, and we want them to be aware that they're not alone and come together as a team.
Coming up is the Scotland team.
Bionachena Alaba is Misha Brittany Rukara na Alba. Hello from Team Scotland. I'm Brittany, one of the helpline volunteers, and from all of our support groups in Glasgow, Fife, Dundee, Edinburgh, the Borders, Aberdeen, Caithness and Sutherland, we wish you a fantastic EndoMarch. Chamion Dulcus, Gugcord and Mir Sharif.
We now have Endometriosis UK Chief Exec, Emma Cox.
I'm off mute. Hi, I'm another Emma Cox. I'm Chief Executive Endometriosis UK. And we are a small staff organisation, but a huge volunteer organisation. And a big thank you to all the volunteers organising EndoMarches, as well as support groups and the helpline, and all the work that gets done to really help those with endometriosis across the UK. The volunteers are the organisation, so thank you, team. What I wanted to do is talk just about our three main priorities over the year ahead, and sort of why we're marching and why it is so important that today everyone is setting the internet alight with yellow. So as we know, in the UK, it takes I think it's shocking, 8 years to get a diagnosis on average, and that figure hasn't changed in a decade. And we know that because it's an average, it hides some excellent diagnosis times where people are diagnosed really quickly because their symptoms are recognised and they feel empowered to go to the doctors to ask for help, and some people who take a shockingly long time, 15 plus years, to get a diagnosis because the opposite happens. And so what we're campaigning for very much is to decrease diagnosis time through raising awareness. And we've been campaigning long and hard with a lot of people to get menstrual wellbeing included in the school curriculum, and we've achieved that in England, but we're still waiting for that and campaigning for that in Scotland, Wales and Northern Ireland. Because what we want is we want all children to know the right words for and terminology for when they have menstrual conditions, but also to have the encouragement and support to be able to raise issues and it not be a taboo subject. And the other part of education is educating and working with healthcare professionals, so working with doctors and nurses so they recognise and think of the symptoms of endometriosis in their busy days when they meet people. And we think this is vitally important, not just because it will obviously help people with endometriosis, but we need to get people into treatment quickly. So that, as you all know, a diagnosis time that takes a long time delays treatment. And so our other area is a priority is around improving improving access to treatments. And vitally important, and what we have in the UK is we have some excellent centres, specialist centres in parts of the country, but in other parts of the country you can't get specialist help. And we think there should be a minimum standard for everyone. And in fact, there is a minimum standard published by NICE, National Institute of Clinical Health Excellence, adopted across the UK, that sets a minimum standard for prompt diagnosis and care, but it's not yet implemented. And so we're working with a whole range of people and governments across the UK to say, right, you've agreed the NICE guidelines, now let's get them implemented. And we're sitting here, obviously the reason we're sitting at home, not marching and sadly not face to face, is because of COVID. And one of the things we know is that because of the delays in treatment and because of misdiagnosis as people's symptoms aren't recognised and because people aren't treated on time, these things all take a lot of time in the NHS. And if they were streamlined, we wouldn't have people having 10 or more, we wouldn't have 60% of people having 10 or more visits to the GP before they get a diagnosis. We wouldn't have 43% of people going to the doctor in a hospital 5 or more times before they get diagnosed. And certainly we wouldn't need 50% of people with endometriosis having to go to A&E with symptoms because they're not getting treatment. So although we recognise that COVID has had an impact, what we believe really strongly is that if we can streamline and improve diagnosis and treatment times for endometriosis, it would actually help the NHS and help everyone in the long term. So our key priorities are around decreasing diagnosis time and improving access to care. But vital for the year ahead is also ensuring that endometriosis and endometriosis patients are given due priority as the NHS resumes services and things get back to normal, or whatever normal is. We know that there's been hundreds of thousands of appointments and surgeries cancelled. We know that there's a backlog, but what we also know is that in the past, endometriosis and menstrual conditions have often been overlooked, just like the fact that they've been overlooked for research, and there's not as much research as other conditions, and sometimes they're not given the due priority. So one of the things we want to do by shouting loudly today and making sure that everyone is aware of endometriosis is making sure that endometriosis gets that due priority, so that people with endometriosis soon hear about when their services are resuming. And for all of those of you who've sadly had to wait for surgery or wait for appointments, we'll be very much campaigning on your behalf to try and get those back on track as soon as possible. So that's what some of our priorities are at Endometriosis UK. And again, it's really nice to see everyone again virtually. I cannot wait until we can meet in person again, and I get another hoodie to do that. So big thank you to all the volunteers, and thank you to everyone joining, everyone who posts on social media, who circulates, tells their friends, tells one person about endometriosis, will be making a difference. Because until the world knows what the word endometriosis is, we can't, if you like, get the leverage to ensure that we take things forward. Because if we have to explain the disease and then explain what the issue is, we want everyone to know what the disease is, and then we can take things forward even faster. So thanks to everyone, and enjoy your virtual march today.
I will be walking for endometriosis on Endo Awareness Month. We are walking from the Princess Anne Hospital in Southampton to QA Hospital in Portsmouth. The reason why we're carrying out this walk is about raising awareness for a chronic disease that is always put down to something before diagnosis that we should just accept and that we should just live with. And I am super passionate about the fact that actually that is not the case.
I'm marching for Worldwide Endo March for more awareness for people that suffer for so long in silence.
There are plenty of people on our support group who have got absolute horror stories. I'm one of them. I was unable to take my daughter swimming until she was 3 years old because of my endometriosis and because I was suffering so much. bleeding so heavily. I bled constantly for 2 years after I had my daughter, and it was probably about 38, 39, and I had been suffering since I was 11 years old. So, you know, this is not acceptable. This is not the norm. You know, taking medications like naproxen just to get through the day-to-day is not how life should be. And we are warriors and we fight for each other. When I have blisters on my feet and I'm in agony after walking 27 miles with the beautiful Jodie Hughes and the other trustees, because obviously COVID restrictions, we're only allowed to walk with one other person. We're doing it for everybody. We're doing it to raise awareness. We're doing it so people hear our stories and people understand that this is not the norm. And you know what? We need to jump up and down, scream it from the rooftops, or walk 27 miles to get our point across. And that's what we shall do. We will bang that drum. We will keep banging that drum until we can help each and every person that we are able to do so. Bring on the blisters.
My name is Robin and I am marching for Endometriosis Awareness Month to ensure that no other young person searching for a diagnosis is ever told that the pain and the suffering that they experience daily is in their head, that they're making it up, that it can't possibly be as bad as they say it is. All three things I have heard numerous times in the 8 years since my diagnosis.
Hello, I'm Helen Kemp and I'm based in Scotland. The reason I'm making this video is to support endo warriors all over the world. My endo story was somewhat protracted, mainly because of my lack of awareness around the subject. I was diagnosed with endometriosis at the age of 38 after decades of heavy, extremely painful periods. And I didn't get any help sooner because I wasn't aware of endometriosis, which is why I'm making this video to add my voice and my support to endo warriors and everybody out there campaigning to raise the awareness around the topic of endometriosis, in the hope that many more women can get a diagnosis and effective treatment sooner.